going on, people? My name is Tai Karun, and I want to welcome you guys to A Nation. And this is the network of internet entrepreneurs you pray for. Every single time I say, I always tell people, don't ask me what I came up with. It's all God's job, etc. So I hope you guys are blessed. So a quick about us before we get started is our why and vision is to equip ourselves as Black entrepreneurs with the knowledge, network, and capital needed to build wealth so that we can live life as our highest and truest selves. Our how and our mission is to help 10,000 entrepreneurs scale profitable online brands by 2025. And of course, our what and members, we are a family of ambitious internet entrepreneurs, professionals, and investors on a mission to know ourselves, clarify the vision, and of course, make it real. Lovely stuff. So our core values are as follows. So ambition, gratitude, self-awareness, perseverance, continuous learning, eclecticism, and impact. So any single person that's watching this recording, the replay on our email list, or anyone that's live right now, the reason why you guys are received any message from us because you've assured us these traits. So again, congratulations to you, and we want to thank you for being here and watching us, and taking the value that you're going to take in today. Our ethos, for those that don't know, is A for active, and that's active commitment today inspires victory every day. And of course, we affirm, we commit, we test, we iterate, we validate, and execute on our plans to make it real. So again, A for active. So if you guys know us, we are a very, very affirmative bunch. So what I would like you guys to do internally, just for the sake of the recording, no one shout it out, is that we have something called A for affirmations, and feel free to read this, say this to yourself or out loud, just to get yourself in the mood for what we're going to do today. So the first thing we want to say is that whatever I can dream up for my business, I can achieve. Secondly, I attract my ideal clients and customers. My business is set up for massive success and growth. I'm successful in any venture I apply focus and perseverance in. I want to repeat that. So whatever I can dream up for my business, I can achieve. I attract my ideal clients and customers. My business is set up for massive success and growth, and I'm successful in any venture I apply focus and perseverance in. Now, I feel better, like, you know what I mean? I feel that's a very, very, very great affirmation that we should say to ourselves. But great, thank you guys for taking that in. So as well as that, we know that every single A call we start with a quote, and today's quote is, if you want to go fast, go alone, and if you want to go far, go together. And that comes from a very, very popular African proverb. Some of you may know it, some of you may not, but if you don't know it, then what the heck have you been? But thank you for taking that in as well. So at this point, I want to invite every single one of us to please block all distractions. If you're here right now, if you're watching this live, then please ensure that you close your tabs, your phone's on silent. If you're watching this, please, this is going to be a very, very, very value-adding call. So please block all the distractions at this point from here. We have a special guest today. Before you unmute yourself, Mirjana, I want to just give you some accolades, because we thought if we're bringing you in, we have to make sure that people know exactly the rock star we're bringing into our values for us today. So I'm going to just share a few facts about Mirjana and her journey so far. So Mirjana, she's the founder and CEO of Anger, the world's first AI-powered rock incliner, helping people breathe, sleep, and reset better. She's an award-winning CMO, that's a Chief Marketing Officer. She's a business turnaround expert with 18 years of outstanding performance, successfully managed global and regional B2B and B2C clients and marketing ecosystems for diverse companies and industries. Trustee of Global Angel Foundations, a charity inspiring disadvantaged communities around the world to transform sustainably. And lastly, she's a guest lecturer at the Oxford Brookes University. So as you can imagine, I'm thinking, why the hell is she on this course? She's a superstar. But at this point, I would like to invite you to kindly unmute yourself so we can just share some information about you. How are you doing today, Mirjana?
Wow. What an intro. I'm doing well, thank you, Tai. And hello everyone who's watching. So lovely to be here.
Amazing. Thank you for joining us, Mirjana. You know what? I feel like before we get into it, because we want to get into a lot of stuff, the title of this call is How to Avoid Burnout and Really Commit to Your Business Success. So as you know, and if you looked at some of the stuff that we're promoting from beforehand, we have a very, very big community of internet entrepreneurs, predominantly from the Black community, that they are actively pursuing the dream day to day. And it gets very, very hard. Understand? So your story, I've heard it, and I thought you'd be a perfect person for us to kickstart our new series of the A calls. And this topic is something I feel is very, very important. So before we get into the main, I thought it would be great for you to introduce yourself, and maybe share some of your story today, and maybe how you got to what you're doing today.
Yeah, Yeah, thank you. First of all, I'm coordinated with my picture there. I didn't even intend that, but there you go. Guys, I do have other clothes, trust me. But anyway, so yeah, I'm Mirjana Prokic, the founder of Hangia Global. And as Tai already explained, it's a world first AI-powered smart rocking incliner. Just remember that word incliner, because you're inclining, you're not reclining. Integrated wellness app to help people to breathe, sleep, and reset. So why Hangia actually happened? I've been in the last 12 years before I started Hangia, which was 3 years ago, in a global chief marketing officer position and business turnaround specialist position. So I, as you can imagine, traveled around the world all the time, being totally sleep deprived, jet lagged, with a terrible body spasm. And that, you know, when we are very young, we just go for it and we run without really thinking about what after and how long I can actually run with this pace. So, and what happened, I experienced burnout, and it was very bad one. So the thing is that we don't recognize when is happening until it's too late. So that's why I thought this is very important for everyone, how to prevent that from happening, because we can prevent. We all obviously work endless number of hours. We all want to deliver. We all, you know, work on our values and purpose. But we sometimes forget about ourselves. And if we are not good, our business will not get anywhere. So yeah, this is me in a nutshell.
Amazing. And I definitely resonate with that, especially the last bit you said, where if we are not good, our business will kind of reflect that. I personally believe that we are an extension, or the business that we create or anything we manifest into this world is an extension of us. So I really, really resonate with some of the stuff you just mentioned. So before we get into it, I feel like you did give a nice high level summary of your amazing self. You know what I mean? I've had a chance to have a lot of one-on-ones with you, so I know a lot of the great things you do. But what I think, just for the sake of context for people that may be watching the recording or watching on YouTube, is that could you explain or just kind of share the journey of actually starting Hangia, or like how, just, I know that it's quite an interesting story. So how did the ambition start before we get into the whole, okay, you're putting in work every single day and trying to put yourself up? That'd be great.
Yeah, so everything started in 2017 when I was in Italy with my friends and having a dinner and just chatting about what was the latest unusual thing that one of us saw in the last 3 months. And my friend pulled out a picture from Copenhagen Museum showing how people used to sleep in 18th century when they were traveling from city to city and on very low budget. So they actually had one option, which was communal area with either option to sleep on the floor and share it with other people and dirt and mice and everything else, or there was another option, which was a hook on the wall. There was a rope that you put around your chest and you actually under your arms, and you slouch forward. That's how you slept. And apparently that's where the word also hangover comes from. So and that was a aha moment. So I started thinking, wow, can we actually bring this to nowadays terms and also implement technology in it, so that people like myself and people who are constantly either sitting excessively or traveling a lot, and therefore they're jet lagged and also sitting a lot on the plane seats, etc., people who are young parents as well, so they have young children that keep them awake at night, and you know, sometimes, or people with sleep apnea, back pain, because sometimes bed per se actually makes you feel a little bit, oh, I don't want to go to sleep, and you know, makes you feel anxious. So I thought if we can bring hardware together with technology and develop something that is going to help our spine, our whole body to feel at ease, and change that posture from sitting and standing into lean forward, how can that work out? So that's how I started talking with I actually thought it's just a crazy idea, like, wow, that's that's never going to happen. So, but then 2 months later, I went to New York, and I was sitting with a friend in Manhattan, penthouse, beautiful view. And he was asking me about ideas that I may have. And I was still chief marketing officer and still all over the places, not really thinking to leave that safety net, where you get salary on monthly basis and you're quite cushioned as well. And I said, well, I do have this one idea, but I don't know what to do with it. And then he said, tell me. So I said it. And I still just thought it's one of those ideas. And then he said, okay, let's just name it. So that was the first thing that we just out of joke did it. So I said, okay, so how are you going to call it? So, okay, hang air, how about hang air? And that's how we named it.
Love it.
So, and it's very important, by the way, to name something and say it out loud, because if it stays here, usually it doesn't really go anywhere else. So as soon as you just say it and write it down, your brain has that intention to actually work on it and deliver. So yeah, that's how everything started.
Amazing. Okay, and just on a note of starting, so one of the things that I've noticed in the community right now, a lot of women are getting into entrepreneurship. A lot of them are doing really, really well in it. And however, a lot of them are overworking themselves. So and this is in general across the like male and women, but my first question just on this topic is that what would you advise early stage business owners, especially women starting out, just to get to that place of, okay, I'm actually going to focus and I want to be successful in this business?
Well, we are all different, first of all. But one thing that we all have is that fear of unknown. And I still have it. And but what really makes a difference is when we raise that fear and just go with it and just say, okay, I'm going to do it. And what is there to lose? If we have our skills, if we have our knowledge, if we have our education, our experience, and also good network, what's there to really lose? Because we can always go back to what we do already or what we did. We know that that's very well-known area, but what if actually we succeed in something totally new? So that is the balance that we need to work out within ourselves and decide on that. And it's painful. That decision, to make that decision is very painful. It's very hard. I went through depression whilst I was making that decision. And my father actually gave me that advice. What's there for you to lose? Money. So all of this that I already mentioned, skills, expertise, education, knowledge, people, you already have that. So you can always go back to it. And that was actually big decision maker for me. Now, I don't have children, so that is a big difference between me and parents who have to deliver and provide for others as well. So for me, it probably was easier, but also very painful. So yeah, okay. But that fear is the main obstacle, I believe.
Thank you for sharing that. You mentioned something just now about you have your experience, you have your network as well. A lot of individuals, you said a lot of people are different. I feel like the network side of things, I resonate with that strongly because a lot of the people that are starting out, and this is what A Nation is for, and what we're trying to focus on right now in this call, that people are starting out may not have the greatest network to kind of get things started. So I would love to know, or if you have any advice, how would you, like, what would you say for those that may have the great ambition, they may have the skills, but the network, they're not really at that stage yet? What would you say about that?
So when I started building my network, it was a subconscious thing. I didn't really think about I'm building this network because there was no expectation in my life at all. I just love people. People. I love to connect with people. I love to understand what they do. I'm just curious. And this is what actually connected me with some absolutely wonderful people in this world, any different area of expertise, from, beggar on the street and homeless person to some presidents as well. So, it's everything in between. And it's all about you know, where do you start from, and what's there? What is the aim? Is it as soon as you show that there is some expectation from someone, I feel that, you know, that may put some people off as well. So now I understand that. However, it is also important whenever we reach out to someone to be very clear on why we are reaching out. So we are all very busy. People are, you know, having so many different things to do. But if we don't know someone, but we see that that person potentially can help us, it's okay to reach out, but with a very small and straight to the point sentence, and ask, and what is there? So, you know, earlier no is better than later no, because we will save our time as well. So don't be afraid to ask. It won't hurt. No one will bite our head off. And we can only get the worst case scenario, no, and that's it. But we can get lots of yeses as well.
No, thank you for sharing that, and I'm sure a lot of people will get some value from that. Okay, cool. So I want to kind of peel it back, and I want to focus on the whole idea. You mentioned when you first started that sometimes when we're doing things and we're putting ourselves last, yeah, we almost don't even think about it. It's almost like second nature to put ourselves last. Because I know you have an amazing journey and you've gone through some stuff. In hindsight, what are the signs that people can look out for to say, you know what, am I burning out here? am I going on a journey but I'm about to crash? So I'd love for you to get your opinion on that.
Ooh, it's hard to tell, because sometimes for me I wasn't really aware until it hit me that I woke up, you know, I would wake up every morning and I would just cry, and every single thing would just irritate me and I wouldn't know why. So and then I realized what actually was happening, but that was dating way back, and I now, from this perspective, I can see where everything started from. So I was unhappy with the industry that I was in. I wanted, you know, I was working in the last 12 years for chemical industry, and not the industry really that I would like to go back to ever. My job was very interesting, people I work with. But industry overall, I thought, yeah, I would love to help people, not to really do otherwise. So that was some people actually started pointing out, especially my CEO at the time, who was saying, you know, you can do so much more. I think you're wasting your talent here. And I thought that he's pushing me out. So because I was so clogged with so many thoughts and those fears. And he's my best friend, by the way, now. So but that was the best kind of kick in the butt that I received. And everything kind of started from there. I recognized that I was I started to be short temper. I recognized that any kind of thing would emotionally affect me. I would get very irritated, and I started crying a lot. So I thought, so something is not really right. So the first thing I did, I deleted my social media accounts. So now, obviously, I couldn't really delete Facebook for a long time, but I kind of put that on stop. So that was, for me, the first thing. I wanted to focus internally on myself and see what are the problems there, and then go out and focus externally. So, you know, we can recognize burnout, but sometimes we can't. There are other people who recognize that before ourselves. And I would say that we should listen to our closest, who know us the best. If they say, are you okay? Is something wrong with you? You seem a little bit edgy, or, you know, you seem a little bit too sensitive, or so those could be first signs that, okay, if someone says that and I say, oh, no, I'm just too stressed, I'm just working too hard, etc. Well, these are the signs. So it's all about working smart and not hard. Because we can employ other people also to work, you know, other area of our business to take care of that. Because as you said earlier, that African saying I really love. You know, we can go on our own very fast, but with a team we can go much further. And that's exactly it. So, you know, we don't have to blame ourselves if we don't do something that we planned today. There is always tomorrow to do as well, but have it there in your books, let's say, to do it tomorrow. So
precisely. And I'm actually happy you mentioned that. I resonate so strongly with some of the stuff you're saying, and it's almost, I'm looking at, I've done some work as well. You know, we met through Linda and Bagley, so I know that, you know, she's an amazing. I've done some work recently as well, and it's only in hindsight that I was looking at a lot of the people that were in my life that were saying, "Tai, you need to slow down." My reaction was almost like, I haven't got time for this. You understand? I was almost thinking, I've got so much stuff on my plate that I thought that they were trying to stop me from being progressive, if that makes sense. So another thing I wanted to mention, I know a lot of entrepreneurs, when they get to that state of like burnout, they may or may not know it. Some of them don't know it. Is that they feel like isolating themselves to kind of focus is the best thing to do. And you mentioned something just now that sometimes when you don't know or you can't see your blind spot, it takes the people that are around you to kind of identify and show you things. So for those individuals that are maybe in that, okay, I just need to focus, I need to isolate myself, maybe not intentionally, but what would you say about that, and what are the results that you got for yourself and your business once you identified that you were burning out and you actually made some active steps to change things?
Well, focus. First of all, the main problem that we saw over the past, I don't know how many years and years of new successful founders was that message that was coming out, which is, I sleep only 3 hours at night, 4 hours at night. I work, and I'm, you know, so buzzed, and so everything is just, I have to do this, I have to do that. And then, you know, they crash. So first thing first, if we don't sleep enough, which is 7.5 hours at night as the minimum, next day we feel groggy. We can train our brains and ourselves to sleep much less, but actually what that does for later stage in our life is putting us to possibility to suffer from Alzheimer's because of that lymphatic system in our brain, which is actually similar to lymphatic system in our body. So if we don't sleep enough, that glympha builds up, which is actually clutter that happens in our brain, and that needs to flush out. And how that flushes out from our brain is through our sleep. So if we don't prioritize our sleep, that's the first mistake. So next day, stress is getting higher. Decision-making process is much harder. Again, as I said, we are short-tempered. We are more reactive rather than, you know, thinking straight, and all of that. So that's the first thing. In terms of everything else, well, so many different pointers, I would say, but this is the first one, how to really prioritize in order to focus. If we didn't sleep enough, for example, during the night, power nap is very good. So we can still unlock extra 3 to 4 hours, extra focus and alertness if we have 20 minutes power nap during the day. It doesn't mean that we will fall asleep in these 20 minutes, but that just, you know, zoning out from everything, switch off everything that you have and just have 20 minutes around 2 o'clock, because that's the best time for power nap if you're obviously starting your day at 8 or 7 or 9. That's the best time for your rhythm, and next 3 to 4 hours will be amazing. So that's something that always works, and we know Spanish people always have siesta, so that's something that helps a lot. Meditation and mindfulness, I mean, it's great, I love it, but there is a time to allocate for that. So sometimes we don't have that time. So but then breathing, you know, breathing can do so much wonder to refocus and come back into our zone, let's say. And, you know, with Linda, we did those different exercises, which is fascinating how small things can actually reset our focus. If we overdo things and if we just want to reply to every email immediately, it's not a good thing. You know, sometimes we will react and reply in the wrong way, and then tomorrow we read that reply and say, why did I write this? So that's why it's very good to make that distance from emotional distance, let's say, from actually what we're writing. And one thing that I always have in every notebook that I have and know, whenever I start new notebook, I write sleep on it. That's the phrase that I always have. Which means if it's some very important decision to make, I would sleep on it before I actually decide, because sometimes obviously we have to decide very quick, but if you don't have to straight away, that's something else that can help us to refocus, let's say. So I hope this helps a little bit.
No, I love that, because all the answers that you gave just now, they were just so simple. You know what I mean? They were so simple.
But that's it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Simplicity is the key. We are complicating too much, because we have always that self one and self two. There is a great book I would love to also recommend. It's about tennis, but you can just use it in any life situation, and it's called The Inner Game of Tennis. And actually it talks about these two selves. Self one of it is just that judgmental self, and self two that actually does anyway, because it's a perfect system that we have called our body. And then the mastery is to bring these two together so that they work seamlessly. So
Precisely.
Highly recommended.
If you guys are listening to that stuff, you guys need to sleep more. You know what I mean? You don't have to kill yourself doing 2 hour sleeps a day. You know what I mean? Definitely listen to what Mirjana is saying. Amazing. So by the way, for those that are here, we are going to have some time for Q&A. So I hope Mirjana, you'll be good to answer some of the people that may have questions. But I want to ask a few more questions, because why not? You know what I mean? So the next question I have for you is that, what was your biggest blind spot in the last few years? So I know that you've achieved a lot of great things. So just looking back on your journey so far, if you were to say there's one thing that I realized, and I'm sure you know this because of Linda, that you believe, okay, if I knew this before, I could have had a more plain sailing type of ascension to the stuff you're achieving right now.
Well, first thing first is it's so hard to learn who we really are, to learn about ourselves. Because sometimes picture that we have about ourselves is maybe not really the picture that how other people also see us. So in my case, the blind spot was, I was always very confident and in front of others, and I would just, whenever it's something about others, I would be there performing, no problem. But when it comes down to me and what I am doing, and no matter how people see me, I subconsciously was sabotaging myself a little bit. And this is something that I learned how to actually see myself in a proper way, who I really am, because we have that imposter syndrome. Majority of us also suffer from. So we kind of don't think that we are that great. But actually, everyone else is saying it. So, and I don't believe in that. And, kind of don't believe in yourself sometimes, which is so weird. So that was the moment when I been approached by Linda, actually, and she asked me to do coaching. And I said, I don't need coaching. So I obviously did many different coachings in my life, but that was just like, eye-opener. And I'm very grateful for that. So that was first blind spot, not really understanding myself fully and not appreciating myself fully. I was actually downgrading myself in my own eyes. That was the first one. Since I changed that, things just started opening. Second blind spot was sometimes, we all make mistakes, of course. And in terms of recruitment, sometimes we just want, we see people who are there willing to help us, but actually they're saying that they're willing to help us because they see that there is something absolutely amazing. And then that was reaction rather than observation from my point of view. So I would, once I actually jumped and accepted that, but then I realized that was a mistake. So there were lots of words but no deliveries. So, and that's something that I learned how to change that. And okay, let's just start and see how far we get with something. And obviously we agree in principle, and think first on paper what expectations are there. So whenever you go into any agreement with anyone, first set expectations very clear, and that both sides are very clear on what's requested, and then monitor and measure, and then deliver. So that's another blind spot that I had. And then learning, I mean, moving from corporate world into startup world is such a different ball game. It's totally different thing. I thought, you know, I knew everything from corporate world, but actually startup world is so different. And yeah, constantly learning and moving forwards. That's the thing.
Okay. You said a lot of great things there. So I want to touch more so on the second point, but feel free to share this and other points as well. So with regards to the self-sabotaging, you understand how, if you can give like an example, because I really want the people that are listening to this to maybe resonate with some of the examples. I resonated so strongly with that second point, by the way.
Yeah.
But I wanted to kind of, if you could flesh out a little bit, how did the self-sabotaging affect your mind state, your actions, when you were hiring, when you were doing it, so people can just almost picture it and see, okay, they might have seen themselves doing it, if that makes sense. But yeah, that'd be great.
Yes. So examples. I would on surface be very confident and comfortable, and so, but when it came to raising funds, for example, that was for me, I thought it's very easy, but what I was doing wrong was constantly reaching that perfection, and never ever happy enough with what I'm doing, and never able to go out and ask what I need. So that was the main problem, and I would always I was just not comfortable to say what I'm doing in a proper way, articulated it well. And I believe what I'm doing inside, but it was so hard to just explain to people, because I would just say, but they, you know, they have other things that they think about, etc. This is not yet at the stage that I would comfortably go and say and ask them and for help. So that seeking perfection was a mistake. What I suggest is just go out there and talk about what you do. Without, again, with no expectations, obviously, if you feel that it's too early, but creating that awareness about what you do is very important. So when the right time comes, people already know about you, people already heard about your ideas, and then also they saw the progress and achievements since the moment you started telling them about your idea. So that was something that I was a little bit suffering from. Okay. That's one example.
I feel like we're twins.
Oh, you know what? Lots of people actually, when you realize, and we just don't talk enough about it. That's the problem.
No, literally, and I'm very thankful for you opening up and being transparent about it on this call. Yeah, we're getting some gems for you guys, by the way. I hope you guys are enjoying this. You know what I mean? But okay, so I've got 2 more questions before I hand it over to anyone that wants to have ask you anything. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ready it before, because this is you don't get people like this on calls that they're so accessible, by the way. So please make the most out of it. So the next question I have, and this is more so again for the people that are just starting out, the new entrepreneurs that just really want to understand how to focus, seek success, but avoid burnout, is that how do you organize your time to avoid burnout? You mentioned a few things about meditation, etc., but on a day-to-day, how do you do that?
Yeah, first thing first, I'm standing majority of my time now because standing actually doesn't make us lazy, because we have to move around as well. So you kind of stand and do something, and then you feel that your legs are tired from standing, so you need to keep moving. Otherwise, if you keep sitting, that's you know, I remember ending up sitting for 4 or 5 hours without really moving, even to get a glass of water. So, and I always say, I'm in that zone. Well, that zone, but we need to break that zone and go for a cup of tea, water. Because one thing that I learned in corporate world, and that was very good, great learning for me, is that we need to allow ourselves to get bored. It is so important to get bored and just sit back and stare through the window. Just look the birds or whatever. Just do nothing. Because from that boredom of 10-15 minutes or a few times a day, it just resets your mind and also helps you to come to new ideas. If we are continuously overloading our brain with constant new information, just read, and be on social media, do this, do that, reply to this email, etc., there is no space to step back and overlook what we are doing, and with clarity come now back to and prioritize what's necessary to do now, what can wait later. So that is number one thing for me. Get bored. It helps a lot, similar to meditation as well. I swim. I'm a huge swimmer, so for me that connection with the water is something so special. So I'm butterfly swimmer, so just going under the water is, you forget about everything else in this world. You're only focusing on your breathing and your stroke. That's it. So for some people it's something else, but for me it's swimming. And I always make myself or rather make that time available for swimming almost every day. If I can't do every day, then definitely 5 times a week is a must. And this is my time and no one can take it from me, and that's so important. Just have your time, no work, no people, no friends, no family, you. And that's so important. But yeah,
that's amazing. And I feel like that's actually very I'm very happy you mentioned that. Now what I'm gonna this wasn't I didn't plan to ask this question, by the way, but when you're listening you have to just ask something, you know what I mean? But what will come to mind is that, okay, but where can you find the time? Like let's say for example you're starting out and you have a few things that you have to get done. What would you advise for those that really want success but they're just struggling to find the time to just even lean into those passions of theirs for them to get their mind right?
Question is, where are you rushing?
Ooh. Ooh.
Where are you rushing? If you rush, again, go back to your saying, a life. I mean, if we rush, we can miss so many great opportunities along the way. Because we are just, vision is very important to have, and it's there, but it's so important to understand and see and enjoy and live what's happening in between that you and that goal that you're planning to reach. And make your time for things that you love, because tomorrow, I mean, even COVID now showed us how life can be different from day to day, and everything is changing. So why to fixate ourselves about tomorrow? And if I achieve this, I will be happier. It's all if, but that's tomorrow, that's another day. What about now? Right now, I'm talking to you, I'm talking to all of you, and I'm enjoying it. I'm here. I don't think about what's going to happen later and what's waiting for me. Do I have email to reply? Do I have to rush? No, this is my time with you. And actually right now, you are the most important person in my life, because I am with you. Everyone else can wait.
I'm so
So make your time.
That is so beautiful, because I always say to my mates is that I've never ever woken up and seen tomorrow. I've never woken up and seen next week. I've only woken up and seen the present I'm living right now. So I love that answer. So where are we rushing to instead? And
exactly,
that's beautiful. So if I'm looking back at all of the stuff you basically mentioned today, you're living that lifestyle, and I guess people are searching for these things. They're rushing for these things. They're looking all over outwardly for these things. But what you basically mentioned today, that you've gone within, you've identified some of your blind spots. You realize that you need to put yourself first. You need to sleep more. take some naps where you need to. You need to lean into some of the stuff that you're passionate about. You needed to delegate where you're not the greatest at, and use a team to effectively do things. You clarified your intentions with people when you come on board. I feel like you've given so many gems that I don't think that I should ask any more questions. So at this point, I want to just open up the floor to anyone that is in the call. If you're shy to ask any questions via the chat, feel free to message on the chat. If you do have any questions for Mirjana, then please unmute yourselves. I think that you should be able to unmute yourself. Karun, I think they can. Yeah. Feel free to utilize this moment right now, because again, Mirjana's with us. You might as well just make the most out of it, right? You know what I mean, so feel free to anyone who wants to come in at this point.
Whilst we are waiting, one thing that also came to mind, sometimes I'm sure that you went through it, when you are so fixated onto something, you want to do it now and it has to be done now, and it's just everything going against you. It's just not happening. And that's why it's universe will do things for you when it's the right time, because sometimes when we think the right time is, it actually isn't, because there are new opportunities that will happen and open that right time. Exactly. And therefore patience is so important. And fear of missing out is the biggest problem of all of us, especially because of social media. And we just see, and we are bombarded with so much content that we have to do it yesterday. But content is there to learn about things, but not to shape our life and our decisions. So we have to run our own pace, not someone else's pace. So yeah, just wanted to add that.
Thank you. So I've got a question here. So from Iris, she says, do you advise setting up your business alongside your corporate career before taking a leap?
So it really depends on type of the business, I would say. So for me, my startup required my 100% focus. However, I started it whilst I was still at corporate world. I was lucky to have help from my corporation to put me on garden leave for 10 months. So that was great buffer. So I was still earning, but I didn't have to actually work anymore for them. So I could develop my own business. So in my case, was pure luck. But again, I did earn that over the previous years, working like two jobs and being paid for one. So for different businesses, there are some businesses that you can run in parallel. But if you really want to have full focus, and if you can afford, then you can you should go just all in one.
Yeah.
It just depends on personal circumstances. Never obviously go and risk everything you have, because you have to leave some buffer somewhere to help you to survive until your business kicks off properly. So whatever that is, I don't know, if you have mortgage to pay, then there are interest only mortgages, for example. You maybe can put things on hold for a while so that you don't have to pay full rate of mortgage, but actually just the interest only. That will save you some money on a monthly basis for a while. If you have some savings as well, think about that, how you can prolong that money as well to last you longer, so that you can focus on your business, etc. But it really is individual. For me, my business is very complex, requires lots of heads. So I just couldn't share my head with anything else but this, nor I would.
I want to touch on something you mentioned just now about you, when you answered the question about, okay, if you were in this situation, think about, could you like lower your interest, like pay this interest also? The reason why I'm smiling right now, because I remember there was a call I had with one of my mentors. His name is called Anthony Fleming. And I remember I was so frustrated. I was rushing. I was the one that was rushing, trying to get things going. I was almost going at 1,000 miles per hour. I was the most on point person. Every email that came, I used to answer straight away, thinking that how come everyone else isn't like this? So when it came down to when I was in a place where I thought, why isn't this happening? He was like, Ty, how come you're not thinking about this? And like, you're making things a little bit complicated for yourself. And then I just, as I'm speaking to you right now, and I'm seeing how calm and how you easily just thought about that option, when people are like literally are going on all cylinders, yeah, they haven't got the space to even think clearly and even think about some simple solutions to some of their problems. So again, I hope that everyone is listening to this. They take heed to some of the stuff that Mirjana's sharing with us, and hopefully take that on board for their personal journeys as well. So I just wanted to add that in. But before we continue. Is there any more questions anyone wants to ask? Please don't be shy. I mean, please don't be shy, guys. You understand? We have Mirjana here.
I love questions. Come on, any question is great questions. So
no stress. But at the end of the day, if you guys don't want to ask any questions, that's fine. I did have some questions. Sam, he couldn't be here today, so he said I should ask you some questions just in case there weren't any. So I'll ask it for him. So he said, in your journey of like, how do you develop this unshakable self belief in yourself and your business? Because that'd be like a question from Sam.
It's some people just have it straight away, and there is sometimes confidence, but also arrogance. But that's not really great combination. So it's important to be, confident, but also humble. So in terms of majority of people, especially very successful people, by the way, which I learned through many different events based on burnouts that they all experienced, and lots of us do suffer from that imposter syndrome, that we kind of don't really believe who we really are and we just see what other people think about us. But how to build that confidence is find your mentors. That's always, and find people who are going to point your blind spots, and be open to ask questions. Don't be afraid. I mean, we sometimes feel a little bit not intimidated, but that can also be the case, and not ask questions because we are afraid of the answer, or we think maybe, oh, it's a stupid thing to ask, and but actually it's, as soon as we put that question out, wonderful things do happen. So that's the way how we build confidence. I'll tell you one actual example. I am still the member of Chief Marketing Officer Club, the CMO Club, which is membership club of number one CMOs in this world of top brands. So there was a Facebook, Google, Airbnb, name it, like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, British American Tobacco, all these top brands, Nike, etc. And I remember joining first dinner with them, and oh my God, you know what? I struggled to introduce myself properly. I was very short, and I just said who I am, and and I thought, when I started listening how they're introducing themselves, just starting from that very simple thing, I thought, wow. And I was so embarrassed how modestly I actually introduced myself. And it took me a while to actually build that confidence in that circle of people. And I thought, wow, they're so big names, they're so big brands. But actually, when you just go through that first impression, you actually see that everyone is suffering from something. Everyone, we are all sharing the same pain. In the end of the day, we are people, we are human. We just managed to reach out some points in our lives, and so it's all about be open up and don't be afraid to hold yourself back. Just get out there and learn, and it's okay to make mistakes. Totally fine. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. Amazing. And get confident.
We've got one more question. So the next question we have is, how did you find out who your customer was? Yeah, I thought that'll be a fairly simple question to ask from yourself, but yeah. The question we have.
Well, I'm first customer, first of all, because as I said, I'm standing now. I am suffering big time from my back pain, and I improved my sleep big time, but my back is still in a terrible state. So and also, first thing first, be agile. Just go and ask people about not your immediate friends, because they will all tap you on the shoulder and say, that's fantastic, that's great. That's not what you want to hear. Go and ask people who you don't know about their life, and how about, what would you like to have to solve your problem, or just talk about your what you're building, and see how they react, people who don't know you. That's how I actually, whenever I had opportunity, whenever people ask me what they do, I would just explain without real expectation what they are going to say. And then people started saying, I would love to have one, please put me on your mailing list. And that was really not my intention, but I was just saying what I'm doing. And that's how people started. And word of mouth. Word of mouth is another one that I strongly believe in. So for us, we got our first committed pre-order from Saudi government, which was again based on word of mouth. People heard of us, and they wanted to understand what we are doing, and they said we would love to have that for a Hajj, pilgrims to Mecca, to improve their lives, or rather journey to Mecca. So that's how first pre-order happened. So I didn't ever anticipated nor thought about that market. My market was more about airports, business offices, households, hospitals for shift workers, and travel hotels for travelers, etc. But when they came, I thought, wow, it's so obvious, obviously. So yeah, it's all about talk. You're the best advocate for your business, and people will come.
Amazing. Mirjana, you've been an amazing guest to have. We've actually kickstarted our. I just noticed you can't really see me right now. What's going on? I'm actually much better than what this
Put some light on. I am in the dark as well.
Yeah, I mean, just for the sake of, yeah. Hey.
Oh, there you go. Hello.
Sorry about that, guys. You know what I mean, ladies, I'm sorry about this. You know what I mean. Here we are. You know what I mean. Cool. Sorry. You are actually an amazing person, and I hope everyone that's on this call sees that. Mirjana, she's achieved so much great things. However, she's human. She's gone through stuff. You understand? And I feel like the main thing that we wanted to really show a lot of the new entrepreneurs that are coming in is that, yes, you can start from where you are. Yes, you may be a little bit, okay, I'm not as confident, but step out, come into these places, learn from people that have been where you've been, and I'll go and at a place where you're looking to go. So I feel like this call has been testament of what it's like to literally expose yourself and step out of your comfort zone to meet individuals like yourself. So again, I really want to thank you, and I'm sure every single one on the call will want to thank you as well. Do you have any last words to say for anyone on a call, maybe people that are listening, that you feel like, okay, let me leave it with a bomb. Let's leave this with a bomb. You know what I mean?
I am happy to. How many people are in this call?
Right now we have 8.
Okay. Yep. So I'm very happy for everyone to reach out for 30 minutes of just talk through. Yep. Human beings are suffering from all same things in the end, and I'm very happy to answer any question, any doubts, or anything you have, and you're not asking right now.
Look how lovely she is, guys. You know what I mean? Like, she ain't getting paid for this, by the way. You know what I mean? Like, she is. I mean, well, I hope not. Are you gonna send me an invoice? Boy, let me know.
Of course. All kisses and hugs.
No, I really thank you for that. And anyone that's interested in that, how can people get in contact with you, or should they do it via me, or let me know how you would prefer?
So LinkedIn is the best place. First of all, just send me a message, and we can connect there, and then we can set up our call. And I'm very happy to hear what questions you have, and if I can help, I would be happy to.
Amen. Lovely.
My time is obviously crazy busy, but this is what I am very happy to give.
I appreciate you. And on this note, what we're gonna do, so anyone in the call, are you guys A for active? Let me guys know. Yeah, and put a yes in the chat if you're A for active. If you guys are inspired by this call, that you guys want to say, yep, I wanna go out and make things happen. I'm seeing yeses. All right, cool, lovely. So in that case, let's get this money then. You know what I mean? Let's get active. We have to. You understand? I hope you've learned a lot from this call. I really appreciate every single one of you for coming. I really appreciate everyone that's watching it. And Mirjana, we appreciate you. So thank you very much for your time.
Likewise.
And we're gonna go for a drink soon. I'll give you a call.
Of course, yeah. we can.
Have to.
Thank you so much.
Okay, amazing. Thank you very much, people, and yeah, see you at the next A call.